The Djinn's Bride, Chapter 4. The Other Side of the Door location. Alyssa's house. Monday, 3:03 a.m. Claire sat on the floor, staring at the wall. But the wall wasn't there anymore. A door had appeared. Tall, black, covered in ancient symbols. It pulsed, like it had veins. It wasn't made of wood. It was made of flesh. Alyssa stood beside her, shaking, whispering prayers. "What is that?" she asked. Claire didn't answer. She just stared. "It came through the fire," Claire said softly. "It followed me back." Alyssa stepped closer. The door hummed, low, like something breathing. Suddenly, a knock. Once, twice, then silence. Alyssa gasped. Claire didn't blink. "He's on the other side," she said. "He wants me to open it." Alyssa reached for the talisman, but it was ice cold, dead. It no longer. They weren't safe. Not anymore. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A shadow passed across the ceiling. Fast. Wrong. Then the voice returned. Not from the door. From inside Claire. "I brought him here," she said. "I never closed the gate." Alyssa backed away. Claire's nose started bleeding. Her eyes turned glassy. The symbols on the door began to glow. Red, then black. Then they started to drip. The door was bleeding. From behind it, something pounded. Louder, harder. The whole house shook. Then a voice. "You opened me once. You'll open me again." Claire stood up. Her skin cracked. Smoke leaked from her mouth. "He wants to walk in this world," she said. "And I'm the only one who can let him," Alyssa screamed. "No, you're not him. You're stronger than this." But it was too late. Claire reached for the door. Her hand touched a symbol at the center. Then it opened. Not like a normal door. It folded outward, like flesh torn apart. Behind it, a red desert. Mountains of bone, black skies, and thousands of whispering voices. Claire stepped inside, and the door vanished. Alyssa was alone. Location. The red desert. Midnight. Claire opened her eyes. She was lying in ash. The sky above her was pitch black, but something moved in it. Shapes. Wings. Shadows. Without body. She sat up. Her dress was white. Old. Torn at the hem. It wasn't hers. Chains of smoke were wrapped around her wrists. They weren't tight, but they breathed. The desert stretched forever. Red sand, black rocks. Everything glowed from beneath, like fire waiting to rise. A sound echoed across the emptiness. Drums, low and steady, like a heartbeat. Claire stood. Before her was a path, skulls on either side. Like, leading to something massive in the distance. At the end, a throne, and seated on it, he wasn't fully visible. Smoke curled around his form. His hands glowed like molten metal. Claire took a step forward. The earth whispered. Her name. She walked. Each step sank. The sand tried to hold her back, but the chains around her wrists pulled her forward. Sarkhan rose. His voice wasn't sound. It was inside her. "You were promised. Your blood remembers. Your soul was marked before you breathed." Flames rose behind him. A wedding fire. Black and alive. He raised one hand, and the sky above them split open. Claire saw her. "Home. Her room?" Alyssa screaming. Sarkhan spoke again. "Once the fire joins, the veil will burn, and your world will be mine." The chains lifted Claire off the ground. She floated toward him, her body limp, her mouth open against her will. He placed a crown of ash on her head, and the wind screamed. Her eyes turned white. But just before she reached him, a whisper broke through. It wasn't from the desert, not from the throne. It was Alyssa, calling her name. Claire blinked, and the fire faltered. Sarkhan roared. The earth cracked. A storm of bones swirled around them, but Claire gritted her teeth. One hand moved. She reached into her sleeve. Inside, a shard of her grandmother's talisman. She held it tightly. It lit up in her palm. And then, She threw it into the wedding fire. The world exploded in light, and Claire disappeared. Alyssa's packed location. Northern Ridge. 2:22 a.m. The wind howled as Alyssa climbed the ridge. Her flashlight flickered. Her hands were scraped and cold. But she didn't turn back. She remembered the stories her grandmother told her about a place no one visited. A place where the ground remembered screams. A place that listened. She passed the last tree. Then the forest stopped. Dead, flat land stretched ahead. And in the center, a circle of black stones. No path led to it. No birds flew over it. It was older than the town. Older than memory. And Alyssa could feel it breathing. She stepped inside. The moment her foot touched the earth, the cold vanished. Not because it got warmer. Because something swallowed it. Her flashlight died. Darkness closed around her. But she stood still and whispered, "I'm here to bargain." The wind stopped. The stars above faded. And then a shadow rose. Not from the sky, from the ground. Only a body made of dust and fire. And a voice that crawled into her head. "You would defy the flame," Alyssa swallowed. "I want her back. Claire doesn't belong to him." The shadow didn't move, but she felt its pressure, like hands pressing on her chest. She walked willingly, it said. She said yes. She didn't understand what he was, Alyssa answered. She thought it was a dream, a way out. She was wrong. Silence. Then the shadows circled her. "You would trade yourself, your soul." "No," Alyssa said. "You'd never let me take her place." The air rippled. "But I will give you something he cannot take." "And what is that?" "My future," she said. She closed her eyes. "I give up the life I could have had. No marriage, no children, no legacy, no name remembered after I'm gone." The earth pulsed. "You offer a sacrifice of memory." Alyssa nodded. "I offered the end of my story, so hers can continue." A warm, burning pain spread across her chest. The necklace her grandmother gave her turned to ash. The shadow breathed in deeply. "It is accepted." A crack opened beneath her feet. Wind poured upward, carrying dust and flame. "You will follow her path," the voice said. "But the desert changes all who enter." "I know," Alyssa whispered. "I'll bring her back anyway." Then the earth collapsed, and she fell into smoke. No sky, no light, only a heartbeat. And then red sand beneath her hand. The location. The red desert. Time unmeasured, Alyssa. Hit the sand hard. It was dry and warm, but not hot. It clung to her skin like dust from old bones. She sat up slowly, choking on the air. It tasted like burnt pages and rust. Nothing around her moved. Not the sky. Not the sand. Not even time. She had crossed over. Into the Djinn's world. Into the place where Claire was being erased. In the distance, a flame pulsed. Soft, steady, like a heartbeat in the dark. She moved toward it. Her steps left no prints. The wind didn't blow. Only the faint sound of drums echoed through the land, slow, haunting, like a funeral, walking backward. Then she saw it. A cathedral of bones. Its walls curled upward like teeth. Inside, a fire circled the center like a crown. And within that crown, Claire stood. Her dress was no longer white. It was ash-colored, thin, wrapped in smoke. Her eyes were wide, but they were empty. And in front of her stood Sarkhan, twice as tall as a man. Flames curled off his shoulders like wings. His face was a shifting Masquan moment, a stranger. The next her father, then a beast. He held Claire's hand in his clawed fingers. "Do you accept me as your eternal bond?" he asked. Claire's lips parted, but no voice came out. Only smoke, like her voice had been taken, burned out of her throat. Alyssa stepped into the cathedral. The bone floor moaned under her feet. Sarkhan turned. He didn't move toward her, but his heat hit her like a wave. "You are not part of this ceremony," he said. "But you did bring a fine gift." He raised his hand. Claire's body rose from the floor. suspended like a puppet. Her fingers twitched. Her mouth opened. A soft whisper leaked out. "I'm here," Alyssa said, stepping into the circle. The fire parted, not willingly afraid. She held the stone, the shard of the pact, the final piece. Sarkhan snarled. "Do you wish to trade her soul for yours?" "No," Alyssa said. "I've already traded my future. But she hasn't spoken the vow yet." "You can't take what she hasn't given," he laughed. The cathedral shook, but Alyssa moved forward. She placed the stone against Claire's chest. Light exploded. Red, blue, and white. Claire screamed. Not in pain, but like someone waking up from a nightmare. She dropped to her knees. The fire vanished. The cathedral cracked. Sarkhan roared, lunging toward them. But Claire looked up and whispered something. A name. His name. His true name. Sarkhan froze. His body turned to black glass and shattered. The desert screamed and collapsed. Alyssa grabbed Claire's hand. The ground gave way. They fell through the void and opened their eyes on the floor of their bedroom, breathing, alive, free. Or so they thought. Location, their home. Wednesday, 3:33 a.m. Claire woke to silence. Not peace, not comfort, just silence that pressed against her chest like something watching. She was lying in her bed, the sheets soaked in sweat, the windows fogged, and Alyssa asleep in the chair beside her, arms crossed, mouth slightly open. It was over. They had escaped. She told herself that, but her skin still itched. Her blood still pulsed like it remembered fire, and something deep inside her ribs still whispered in the voice she feared most. Claire stood slowly. Her legs trembled, not from weakness, from memory. She crossed the room and opened the curtains. Outside, the sky was gray. Not the gray of dawn, the gray before a storm. Then she saw it etched into the frost on the window. A mark, a spiral, small, subtle, burned into the glass from the inside. Her breath caught. She turned to wake Alyssa, but her sister was already standing. "I saw him," Alyssa said. Claire's heart froze. "In my dream," she continued. "He was standing at the edge of our street, watching." Claire looked down at her hand. The wedding ring was gone, but her finger still bore the impression, a pale circle that wouldn't fade. "I don't think he's gone," Claire whispered. Alyssa didn't speak. She didn't need to. They both knew the truth. You don't leave a djinn. You escape for a while. But the death always follows. That night, they lit candles in every room. Old ones. Blessed ones. Their grandmother's hidden stash. They drew protective circles. Marked the windows. Read every prayer from the forbidden scroll. And just after midnight, the house began to groan. Not from wind. Not from pipes. From pressure. From something outside pressing in. They held hands, sat in the living room. The air grew heavy. The candles flickered. Then, the lights went out. They heard it. A breath. From behind them. Slow. Deep. Like a furnace exhaling. They didn't turn. Claire closed her eyes. Whispered the final line from the scroll. "If fire seeks to claim what lives, then let the living burn it clean." The candles erupted white flame. A scream split the air. Not human, not animal. Ancient. Then silence. When the lights returned, the house was quiet. The windows were gone, replaced by glass etched in symbols. Their symbols, a new mark. Not of fear, but of closure. Claire looked at Alyssa. "Is it over?" Alyssa didn't answer, but behind her eyes, a small light flickered, like something inside had survived, changed. They had won, but they were not who they had been. Not anymore. The final prayer had been spoken. The fire had been answered. But some doors, once opened, never truly closed.